Canto 25. When he had finished, the thief, to his disgrace, raised his hands with both fists, making figs, and cried, "Here, God, I throw them in your face." Thereat the snakes became my friends, for one coiled itself about the wretch's neck as if it were saying, "You shall not go on." And another tied his arms behind him again, nodding its head and tail between his loins, so tight he could not move a finger in pain. "Pistoia, Pistoia, why have you not decreed to turn yourself to ashes and end your days rather than spread the evil of your seed?" In all of hell's corrupt and sunken halls I found no shade so arrogant toward God, not even him who fell from the Theban walls. Without another word he fled, and there I saw a furious centaur race up roaring. Where is the insolent blasphemer? Where? I do not think as many serpents swarm in all the Maremma as he bore on his back from the haunch to the first sign of our human form. Upon his shoulders, just behind his head, a snorting dragon whose hot breath set fire to all it touched, lay with its wings outspread. My God said, "That is Cacus." Time and again in the shadow of Mount Aventine he made a lake of blood upon the Roman plain. He does not go with his kin by the blood-red fosse, because of the cunning fraud with which he stole the cattle of Hercules. And thus it was his thieving stopped, for Hercules found his den, and gave him perhaps 100 blows with his club, and of them he did not feel the first 10. Meanwhile the centaur passed along his way, and 3 wraiths came. Neither my God nor I knew they were there until we heard them say, "You there, who are you?" There our talk fell still, and we turned to stare at them. I did not know them, but by chance it happened, as it often will. One named another. "Where is Siampha?" he cried. "Why has he fallen back?" I placed a finger across my lips as a signal to my guide. Reader, should you doubt what next I tell, it will be no wonder, for though I saw it happen, I can scarce believe it possible even in hell. For suddenly as I watched, I saw a lizard come darting forward on 6 great taloned feet and fasten itself to a sinner from crotch to gizzard. Its middle feet sank in the sweat and grime of the wretch's paunch. Its 4 feet clamped his arms. Its teeth bit through both cheeks. At the same time, its hind feet fastened on the sinner's thighs. Its tail thrust through his legs and closed its coil over his loins. I saw it with my own eyes. No ivy ever grew about a tree as tightly as that monster wove itself limb by limb about the sinner's body. They fused like hot wax, and their colors ran together until neither wretch nor monster appeared what he had been when he began. Just so before the running edge of the heat on a burning page, a brown discoloration changes to black as the white dies from the sheet. The other 2 cried out as they looked on, "Alas, alas, Agnolo, how you change! Already you are neither 2 nor 1. The 2 heads had already blurred and blended. Now 2 new semblances appeared and faded. One face where neither face began nor ended. From the 4 upper limbs of man and beast 2 arms were made. Then members never seen grew from the thighs and legs, belly and breast. Their former likenesses modeled and sank to something that was both of them and neither, and so transformed it slowly left our bank. As lizards at high noon of a hot day dart out from hedge to hedge, from shade to shade, and flashing like lightning when they crossed the way. So toward the bowels of the other two shot a small monster, livid, furious, and black as a peppercorn. Its lunge bit through that part of one of them from which man receives his earliest nourishment. Then it fell back and lay sprawled out in front of the two thieves. Its victim stared at it but did not speak. Indeed, he stood there like a post and yawned as if lack of sleep or a fever had left him weak. The reptile stared at him, he at the reptile. From the wound of one and from the other's mouth, two smokes poured out and mingled, dark and vile. Now let Lucan be still with his history of poor Sabellus and Nasidius, and wait to hear what next appeared to me. Of Cadmus and Arthusa be Ovid silent. I have no need to envy him those verses where he makes one a fountain and one a serpent. For he neither transformed two beings face to face in such a way that both their natures yielded their elements each to each, as in this case. Responding sympathetically to each other, the reptile cleft his tail into a fork, and the wounded sinner drew his feet together. The sinner's legs and thighs began to join. They grew together so that soon no trace of juncture could be seen from toe to loin. Point by point, the reptile's cloven tail grew to the form of what the sinner lost. One skin began to soften, one to scale. The armpits swallowed the arms, and the short shank of the reptile's forefeet simultaneously lengthened by as much as the man's arm shrank. Its hind feet twisted round themselves and grew the member man conceals. Meanwhile, the wretch from his one member generated two. The smoke swelled up about them all the while. It tanned one skin and bleached the other. It stripped the hair from the man and grew it on the reptile. While one fell to his belly, the other rose, without once shifting the locked evil eyes below, which they changed snouts as they changed pose. The face of the standing one drew up in toward the temples, and from the excess matter that gathered there, ears grew from the smooth skin. While of the matter left below the eyes, the excess became a nose, at the same time forming the lips to an appropriate size. Here the face of the prostrate felon slips, sharpens into a snout, and withdraws its ears as a snail pulls in its horns. Between its lips, the tongue once formed for speech thrusts out a fork. The forked tongue of the other heals and draws into its mouth. The smoke has done its work. The soul that had become a beast went flitting and hissing over the stones, and after it the other walked along, talking and spitting. Then turning his new shoulders, said to the one that still remained, "It is Buoso's turn to go crawling along this road as I have done." Thus did the ballast of the seventh hold shift and reshift, and may the strangeness of it excuse my pen if the tale is strangely told. And though all this confused me, they did not flee so cunningly, but what I was aware that it was Puccio Sciancato alone of the three that first appeared who kept his old form still. The other was he for whom you weep, Gavel.